Alright guys, so I'm out here today. I know it's a random start in the woods next to a creek over here. But random start, but I think it's morel season. Morel mushroom season around where I'm at. I might be a little bit late to it, but you know, it's alright. But anyways, that's season for it. And I was out looking and I thought I'd make a video on it, see if I can find any on camera. Thought it'd be kind of cool to find some on camera, you know, just to see, because I found a few yesterday and it was only a few in there, quite small, but you know, I've still been looking around, just looking for that weird looking mushroom around dead elm trees, and I hope I'm identifying them right, but I think that I thought you could switch on this camera. But anyways, if y'all don't know what an elm tree is, I hope this is correct, but it's something, if you want to identify it, like fully, they say it'll have ridges in it, like some ridges like that, if you can see there, but it's a soft feeling tree. So if you want to identify it, I'd say it's probably your best bet. And we found a snail shell, empty snail shell. Found a few of these yesterday, kind of left them though. It's odd how it's just sitting up there. Alright, well, probably gonna go to the next spot or hop across this creek real quick, just to get to another spot, because I've been in here a good few minutes and I ain't seeing anything. So I actually got some, I think they're either baby salamanders or tadpoles in this creek, but we'll check up over here on this hill. This is going to be kind of like a tips and tricks video. I know I've never done this before, but from what I picked up from other people, I mean, I feel like I know a little bit. Probably not a lot compared to other people, but I know a little bit. So, the first thing, sorry, there's just a lot of branches around here. I don't want to poke my eye out or something. But the first thing you want to do is identify trees. So like the tree I showed you not too long ago, I believe, there goes my hat, I believe is an elm tree. And there's a few trees that you can find morels next to, and I've heard that you can find them under pine trees, next to dead elm trees, so like the bark's falling off the elm tree. I think it's ash trees and like a white oak maybe, I'm not sure about the last one, but the first three I know for a fact that you can find them under. So identify your trees, and you also want to have some good moisture in the ground in warmer-ish days. So they say the average day that you would want is probably about 60 at the high, or 60 average through the day, and in the night you want about 40 degrees as your low. So just try to keep around that time, and it's probably about good. I'd say the time I'm hunting right now, well, the month I'm hunting is May 14th maybe? Check. Yes, May 14th. And I'd say earlier, maybe a little bit, or a little later, depending on where you are at. But, so those are kind of the first few things you want to do, is make sure it's moist outside. Sorry, I had to wipe my camera off, it's raining. Alright, there we go. Had to wipe my camera off. But, so just identify your trees. I'd make sure that you have some moist ground, not too moist, but not too wet, but not too dry. And another thing, you want is that you can look next to hills, like on hillsides is where they say you can find them, where there's tree cover. So right here there's not a lot of tree cover, but if you look over there, there's a lot of bush cover. And I'll be going to another spot soon that has a lot of tree cover, a few dead trees, elms, and if I can find one, I'll try to show you guys what a morel looks like. But you know, no promises, because this is only my, what, 4th day out, I'd say. I started on Monday. I just kind of been looking out through the days. So if I didn't find any in some of these spots from earlier, I'd say it'd probably be grown up now. Because if you're finding morels but they're super small, you can pick whatever you want. I mean, it's your morel hunt, it's all up to you. But you can pick whatever size morels you want. But if you want bigger morels, and you find some and they're really small, you probably want to wait about 4 days, depending on the size. So if they're super small, wait about 4 days. If they're small, like not too small but not too big, say wait about 2 to 3 days to pick them if you want big ones. But I'd say you should maybe check on them. You don't have to, but just to make sure that they don't die, because the morels only last for a few days until they die. So I'm out here in a clearing, and you can find them in clearings, off of deer trails, next to dead elm trees, under pine trees, moist ground, wherever it's moist, you can find them. You can find them just about anywhere, but you just gotta look, because there's 3 different type of morel mushrooms. So you have your yellow top. They're a more yellow mushroom. They're not as gray as the gray ones. So by yellow, I'd say, like, I'm trying to find something kind of yellow. Say if this leaf here was a little bit more yellow, it'd be about that color. And the gray, it's just gray. I mean, I don't know. It's like maybe bark gray, if that makes sense. And then the third kind is a black morel. And the black morels, they're just more of a darker color, darker than the gray. Yeah, that's really it. There's only 3 type of morels that you can really find, unless you find something else, and props to you. There's also more types of mushrooms you can find. They're edible, obviously, because you can find a lot of mushrooms in the woods, but you never know if they're truly edible. So one of them, which I don't know if I'll find today, I might, but I don't know, is it's called a saddleback, or saddle something mushroom, and it's kind of like a wider mushroom, bigger mushroom, and it's got like a pheasant looking style to it. And if I can find one, I'll try to show you guys, but don't go off of just what I see, because it might not be fully correct, because first few times doing it. But I've been watching videos, I've been learning off of these people, and if I knew what their channel was, I'd give them a shout out, but I don't. And another good place to find them near, depending on where you're at still, I'm in southwestern Ohio, so don't know if any of y'all watching live around there, but May apples. So if y'all don't know what a May apple is, it's these right here. And how you can identify them is usually, well, they'll have funky looking leaves and they'll have that white center. And then on their stem usually is something that hangs off of it. And actually there's one to show you right here. It's the flower that's going to come off of it soon. That's another place that you can kind of find some morels near. But I'd say mostly go off of your trees. That's a good place to find them, is off of where your trees are at. So if you find a elm tree and you identified it and it is dying, about 50% dead, so some bark are on it, some bark on the ground, then look and I'd say about a 20-foot radius of that tree. And if you're finding them further, then go further. I don't know what that was. But if you're finding them further, go further. Just keep walking around it. And if you're finding some, if you find any around, just, if you find at least one morel, there's usually more to it. So, a tactic I've learned to do is if you find one, is just crouch down on the ground and just look. Just get a different angle on where you're looking. I mean, if you can't, just at least try to, because it's good because your eyes get fixed onto the ground. It makes you look at the ground pretty much. So, if you just find one, I'd say just sit there in that spot and just look all around you at a different angle. And you can get up and walk a few feet and then do it again. Just change your angle by crouching down. So, this video is kind of getting a little long, but if I have to make a few parts, I will. But anyways, stop it here and I'll probably get to my next spot. And unless I don't know how to use this, then we'll figure